Welcome to the Grit and Growth podcast, brought to you by Convertium.AI, where we explore how technology is transforming construction, real estate, and asset management. I'm your host, Jessica Hobirk. Today's episode dives deep into one of the most important questions boutique builders are facing right now. How can AI help scale quality and client experience without burning out? I'm joined by Brian Kashas, who has 30 years in construction. He grew up in his family's business from the field up, formalized a design-build approach in the early 2000s, and now runs a boutique high-end firm known for protecting craftsmanship. Brian is already weaving AI into the way that he runs his company, from drafting SOPs, contracts, client education emails, to more bandwidth for leadership and mentoring. He's here to share his perspective on where AI fits for boutique firms and help us understand better how to use AI going forward. Brian, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today. From your view, how is AI already reshaping growth strategies in construction and asset management?
Well, for me, I am utilizing it for a few things, like some critical stuff that I've wanted to do for a long time. And just, with you're busy every day and going here and there, doing your thing, being a builder, and you don't have time to sit down and think through how to write out something like SOPs. So that has been a huge benefit for me. I started working with ChatGPT. That's my go-to at the moment on drafting SOPs for my company, and it's gotten so quick and good at it that I literally can pretty much on the fly, when a situation comes up and I realize I need an SOP for this, I can create one in minutes. That's something that would have taken hours if I would have ever, truly gotten around to it in the past. So that's been really, really helpful. Another thing that I've done, one of the first things I did with it was I wanted to see if I could draft a sequence of emails for clients, for subcontractors, for these sort of educational, meet people where they are points in time where you need to explain to a client what we're doing, what to expect, and what's next. And within hours, I had a string of, 30, 40 emails packaged that then I can share with my team. I'm not the one who necessarily has to send those out. I share it with my team. They have a template to use. They can quickly tweak a word here or a name or whatever in order to be address a given client, and they're off and running. It's that's just been a tremendous time saver. These are things that I've wanted to do, thought about doing, started doing numerous times, and just you get a little ways and then you don't. And so basically, all these emails and all these points in times have required until now me to sit down, think it out, write a brand new email or a brand new message to a client at a point in time, if I have the wherewithal and the time to even do it. So that's been my main experience thus far. But I'm also working on some other ways of utilizing it as well.
That's awesome. I actually got ahead of ourselves. Do me a little bit of a favor. Just tell a little bit about background from you and the company and stuff like that. I get too excited about my questions.
Sure. So, like you said in the intro, I started out in the early 90s. My dad was a contractor, so I joined his business. And we were very small. We were very hands-on. So I learned how to do build from the ground up, basically. I mean, we did everything foundation to roof for several years. That was a great experience, a great way to learn the ins and outs, at least from the trade side. But we weren't systematized. We were basically just your typical contractor. Someone calls you up and you kind of figure out what it is that they want to do and do it. And no real plan, no real systems. It was basically a job. And I didn't go to university. I didn't go to college. This ended up being my school, school of hard knocks, I guess you call it.
Of course.
But I knew that I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to run things, and I looked at that as my sort of training ground to get the knowledge and the skills to be able to speak to the technical side of construction, while over time developing the business side. So, which I did independently through reading books and trial and error and, you know, that all that kind of fun stuff. So made lots and lots of mistakes along the way, but,
That's how we
you
learn.
know, worked my way through it and got better and better, you know, hopefully, and managed to build a nice business.
Yeah, if you're anything like me, I definitely learn 1,000 times better when I crash and burn.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, certainly as a small business, you can make mistakes that can be so catastrophic that they could potentially put you out of business. And, you know, we've avoided doing that. Certainly had those, you know, fair share of those dicey, stressful times where cash flow's tight and when are the next jobs coming in? And, you know, you got certain situations that are pretty high stakes. But you learn, you know, you can live through it. You can work your way through it. And if you run your business the right way and you can be profitable enough and smart enough to put some money aside and give yourself some wiggle room, then it's not quite as scary or stressful.
Detrimental. Yeah, rainy day money. You always got to have that set
Yeah,
aside. So,
absolutely.
what challenges do boutique high touch builders face when adopting AI, do you think? And how do you think you would make sure that you don't lose the human touch in the whole process and
That's a
implementation?
really good question. So I think the key. This is before I dove into using AI in a real way. That was my fear because as a boutique company, you absolutely spot on. It's very personal. I never want my clients or the people I'm dealing with to feel like I'm just sending them you know, a robot generated message with no soul. You know, this is
Yeah, exactly.
I got to keep it personal. Certainly, as you start working with like ChatGPT, you find out how it writes. It has certain tendencies, so it is still important on client facing or personal types of communications to edit it in a way that it sounds like you and it looks like it's written by a human. You can get some help. ChatGPT can create the framework, but you should make sure that you edit. You got to be a good editor. You got to be a good prompter. You got to be a good editor. But for things like SOPs, I don't care. It's technical stuff. So I just need it to be, I needed to get the points across. I needed to do it in a way that is readable, thorough, makes sense. And then we can iterate over time. So I'm very conscientious about the personal side versus the technical side.
Same, same. I think that's very important, especially in today. You know, we have so much technology at our fingertips. The last thing we want to do is replace our human capital. Looking ahead, where do you see the biggest opportunity for AI in your business?
I'm really excited to see what it can do on estimating in particular, estimating, scheduling, forecasting schedules, forecasting cash flow. I'm just starting to kind of delve into that. I think there's loads of upside um, on in those areas, and definitely exploring what I can do with it.
There is definitely a lot. I had a really good podcast this morning from crequity.com, and they're a lender, and they are using blockchain to kind of do smart contracts for some of their, you know, construction loans and stuff like that. They're super awesome people. But
Yeah, and speaking of contracts, I've used it. You know, I understand that any contract should be vetted by an attorney, you know, to be wholly valid. But as far as creating an agreement with a client, I have a client right now. I'm working on a very high end, very big custom home job, and we needed to come up with some language to cover some, like, we have a situation where they want to order windows and doors through a contact that they have where they can get a very good price. But this is a product that's unfamiliar to me, so I wrote a unfamiliar products clause with the help of ChatGPT and came to an agreement so the client could understand. We have an understanding that, you know, it's a risk, it's something that's an unknown to me, and what that means and how we'll handle it, which was just beautiful. It was so nice to be able to do that and do it very quickly and effectively.
yeah, it's good to put in your protections for yourself, especially when things are unknown. And I love ChatGPT for that. I have clauses all throughout my contracts that have been born of real life situations.
Yes, aren't they? Most of
I
them
think I
are.
started. I think I started out with like a 1 to 2 page contract maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and that thing's up to like 15 pages now.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
you know how that goes. What is one piece of advice you'd give to firms that are hesitant to adopt AI powered tools and whatnot? You know, some of us older dogs that have been in the construction industry 15 to 20 years, man, that's a big leap to trust the robot, basically.
It is. So my thoughts on this, I have talked to some of my, like particularly my subcontractors and even people that are younger that have kind of dabbled a little bit and are pretty open, but they don't know how to use it.
Hmm.
So the key is, I think, um, first of all, you have to learn to how to prompt it. Prompting is key. You're not going to get anywhere without that. And then, as a person with experience, I know how to prompt it to get it to where it's doing the thing I want it to do. In other words, I'm getting the outcome that I'm looking for, and it's just helping me do it faster. It's helping me write this thing and document it faster than I could if I had to write it all out myself. Um, it's not really meant to be where like you're a young contractor just starting out and you want it to tell you exactly what to do. So you just say, hey, tell me how to run my contracting business. It'll give you a bunch of information, but it's not relevant unless it is applied to your given situation. So it's going to be an ongoing process if you're, especially if you're just starting out, using it to train it, to understand how it works, and how to put in the information in order to get out of it what it's good at doing, and not just assume. It's not like you hear about kids in high school or college who are just having it write essays for them. Well, you're missing the point of learning how to write if you're not doing the writing. So in our case, you have to apply your real life experience and your real life know-how in order to get out of it what it is able to provide to
I
make your
agree.
life easier. It is simply a tool. It is not. It's not anything more than that.
I 100% agree. There was a teacher I just heard about that was giving the kids essays. The kids were coming up with his chat GPT essays and whatnot, and they're just not memorizing the content of what they're supposed to be doing. So instead of knowing this, she was like, listen, we're going to pick some topics. You guys do this topic, have chat GPT write it for you, and then I need you to punch holes in it and see why it's hallucinating facts and figures and why you can't deal with it. I really fell in love with her approach because it's like, listen, like use it, but understand that you're going to have to quantify the work that it puts out and that sometimes it's not going to give you all the answers. So it still challenges them to use the technology, but also make them think for themselves.
Absolutely. I think
That's
that's a great way to use it. Yeah. Because it's
that's
with us. I mean, it's not going away. We're going to have to learn how to interact with it and how to use it without losing ourselves and losing our. It's really, if it frees me up to do more critical thinking and more strategic and creative work, I love it. It's a great tool. It's a great assist. It's kind of an assistant to me in that regard, and it frees me up to do more of that, which I love to do. It makes me happy.
definitely. Well, we do have a little bit more time than I expected. So, as far as your team's concerned, I know you said you used SOPs and stuff like that. Have you considered any other AI tools to help your field team?
Um, well, I see a lot of ads. We're inundated with sales pitches for different solutions to our problems, and the challenge is trying to check them out, find the ones that work. It's almost never. I mean, there really is never an all-in-one solution. All-in-one. Here's this, system that's going to solve all your problems. It's going to do all your accounting, scheduling, project management, on down the line. Haven't found that yet. So, there's some key things that we would really like some help with. One is estimating. I just think we're definitely going to look for that because nobody likes estimating. I mean, at least nobody here really likes sitting down and doing plan takeoffs and stuff like that. So we're looking for ways to automate things that we don't like to do, that it should be capable of doing, and continuing to develop ourselves, our people skills, our communication skills, those intangibles that we need. So it's really up to me as the leader and the one with the experience to create these templates and these systems for them to use, and then to develop their ability to make judgments in the field, their ability to know when do we use the tool, when do I use my intuition, how do I navigate those
There's that
different
gap.
things. It's freeing me up to be more of a coach and mentor within my organization, which is what I want. I can do that kind of work and help develop them. So I don't necessarily want them going into ChatGPT and saying, "Tell me how to be the," I mean, they could maybe make some uses out of it. Checklists are one that hugely important. Project managers can make. I mean, I've worked with it to make field checklists. It's amazing. It's an amazing tool for that. So I could see my project managers and other people in my organization making their own checklists for their kind of tailoring it to their day-to-day existence and what they need to get done. But I feel like my role is to kind of kick that off, show them how to do it, and then help them refine it and improve it over time and tailor it to a given job and given situations. We do everything from kitchen and bathroom models to doing high-end big custom homes. So we have to be able to look at each job on its own, with its own needs and requirements.
One of my biggest things that I like to try to get a little bit of automation with is like the selections process with the client. Just having that super visibility, because sometimes they change their mind and you're like, wait a minute, I ordered 3 vanities because you signed off on this day and time that you wanted this. Like, now that's going to be an upcharge. So that saved me a lot, automating that process with them and just having that record.
That's a good one too. Very, very similar thing. I'd be really interested in knowing how you're doing that.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of ideas. So with Convertium.AI, like our whole thing is to come in and help construction companies and asset management companies kind of streamline processes, and that's everything that you can imagine. And you're right, the AI, you're not going to get a total AI for everything. And what happens with Convertium is we come in, we discuss all of your pain points, and eventually create like a dashboard where everything can kind of feed in. That way you have that kind of like that God view of everything that's going on within your little ecosystem that's created. So AI is moving fast. It's moving super fast. And that's why, I came aboard here. I mean, I had the construction company. We have our general contracting license here in Florida. And I just see the need for our industry to just have some growth. I mean, typically we're the ones that are way behind everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that, with Convertium and the stuff that I'm doing here with people like you coming on the podcast, that we can make this a little bit easier conversation.
Yeah, no, it's great to get these things out there and talk about them and share the information.
That's awesome. Do you have anything that you want to tell our listeners, like how to get in contact with you, what you're currently working on, or anything good like that you could share?
Well, yeah. So in addition to being a contractor, I am kind of getting to the point in my career where I would like to do more coaching and mentoring. So I'm just starting to beta test coaching with a few younger contractors, one who's just starting out and one who's been at it for a while and is looking to take it to the next level. So I'm exploring that. So if anybody wants to, you can certainly check us out at our company website, which is Kashas.com, which is my last name there. And I'm out there we've got Kashas Design Build on Instagram. So I'm pretty easy to find, but that's something I'm very keen to do, to kind of give back and help people avoid some of the mistakes that I made and just be a resource.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for telling us about your experiences and everything like that. I really do appreciate you coming on the show today and everything that you've offered. We had some really good takeaways from this on how you're using AI in your business and how it's moving the industry forward. Thank you so much for coming on, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future as well.
All right. Happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.